had this image in my head of like the deranged commute up and down. I wonder if you
Ooh,
could speak to that a little bit about being in transition.
deranged is a great word.
Uh,
Um, yeah, I mean, it's like my snow globe is shaking right now,
yeah.
and I guess I'm the figurine glued in the center. I'm
Yep.
just like, this too shall pass.
This too shall pass. People talk sometimes fondly. They put like a little spin on like big times of upheaval in their lives, and they're like, "Oh gosh, I'm like so creative in those moments, and like so much stuff comes up." And but like when you're in the moment, it just fucking sucks.
Yeah, I think people who are saying that have a lot of fucking grease on the gears.
They got a little trust fund going on, or they got a little.
Something. Dude, when you're going through it, it's like when it's raw and you're going through it and like the cleaning ladies don't show up and you have to get down on your hands and knees
Oh
and clean the
God, that's
baseboards.
what you meant earlier.
You
As
know
you're
what I mean?
saying, the cleaning ladies were supposed to clean their house that you're
Supposed to.
moving out of.
Yeah, it was like I ordered a deep clean. Now it's like they didn't come and I gotta, you know, message the app company and get the money back, on top of getting on my hands and knees and cleaning everything and outloading everything and realizing I should clean all this shit after and not before because I'm just going to be walking back and forth getting shit dusty and dirty again.
How do you create like a sense for yourself? Like, how do you find like your footing when you're going through it? I think a lot of people right now definitely are going through it, but you're going through something very specific. You're moving, and there's a big question mark as to where you're going to land next. So, like, how
Yeah,
do you find footing when you're like, okay, I've got 2 hours to be creative and productive? Like, what do you do?
I pray.
Okay.
Yeah, I just get in touch. Shelby was talking about God, universe. I'll make the choice to call it God and just be like, you know what? There is a force greater than me that I can't understand, and actually, in the grand scheme of things, I'm okay.
Yeah.
There's people I know I'm gonna eat my next meal. I'm not hungry. I'm not thirsty. I'm not dying in this moment. You know. So if I can just stay in this moment and say like, God's got me right now.
God's got me right now.
Right now I'm good. Even when I don't feel it, there's always that. Sometimes it's I don't know. You're a father, like when you're dealing with the kids. It's like you don't give them an answer every single time when they want it, right?
Fair. Fair enough.
So it's like,
Fair
yeah,
enough.
have faith. It's coming.
I heard the same comment. Ready Sports Story. So Nico Harrison from the Dallas Mavericks recently famously traded generational talent, traded Luka Doncic to the LA Lakers. Maybe the biggest unforced error in NBA history for like not a lot of assets. Let's be honest. And now when he goes to um, watch a game or his own team, the fans chant "Fire Nico." They chant "Fire Nico," and he's not managing this well, not managing this process well. So they're interviewing him and I'm like, "Hey, what do you think, man? You didn't make the playoffs, and next year is looking pretty bleak. And like, do you regret this decision?" And he goes, and again, he totally fumbles the ball. But at one point in the interview, he goes, "Look," he goes, "God's got me. God's got me. I'm not a religious person, but I know what he's saying
Sure.
in that moment. He goes, God's got me. I might get fired.
Yeah.
They might ship me out to Portland or something, or but I might lose my job, and I might go down in history as the worst,
Sure.
basketball mind in the game. But I'll be fine. I should be fine.
It's not the end of the world, dude. You're also talking about a fucking game.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
No, that's fair.
it's also a game.
Yep.
It's like what they're not going to sell more jerseys. Like, is that what we're talking about?
You and I
You're
have a
talking
funny
about ticket
story.
sales and
You and I have a funny story, which I'm going to start in the spiritual realm, and I'm going to bring it down to like a funny realm. So there's a great writer. You probably know his name. It's not Ram Dass. It's not Timothy Leary. He's in that vein, and he tells a story about like, hey, I've read all the religious texts,
hmm
read them all: Bible, Quran, Torah, read them all, pagan literature. And he goes, one thing I found two things to be really true. And he goes, look, life is a mystery, but it's either uh, a drama or it's a comedy. And he goes, and if you want to look at life as a drama, he goes, God help you, God bless you. And he goes, if you look at life as like a comedy, it's going to be a fun ride. It's going to be a really fun ride. So I remember you and I were talking at one point, and you're going to sneak into WME, and or you've already snuck in, you're going to do it again, and you're looking for some air cover, and you're like, can you call one of the biggest bigwigs in Hollywood for me
Yeah,
and just run interference
yeah.
on him? And I remember in that moment being like, oh, this is a terrible idea, but it's going to be so fun. And fuck this guy if he's going to get me in trouble. It's going to be so funny.
With who?
With with
You
who's the person?
no, no, no. But like, it gets you in trouble with
With
who?
who? No, I know.
It's like even like I don't know. I have this thing now where I'm going. Okay, if I've done something out of inspiration, right? Where like I'm inspired to do something, right? Shelby was talking about these ideas manifest. She's calling it the muse. There's a book called Big Magic, kind of the same vein of like these ideas live in this Wi-Fi, right? I happen to believe that's like, you know, God giving it. Who wants it? Show me who wants it. Because you can get really still, right? It's like when you forget your keys and you're like, where are my fucking keys? You're fucking looking around, looking around, looking around. Like, whatever. You go to the bathroom and you're like, got it. It's like you got still for a moment, and it's like zapped right in.
Right.
So I believe anybody can really kind of tap into that Wi-Fi, into that those gifts. They're like, I don't think any idea I've ever had has been my own. It's like I've discovered it, and now it's my duty to do it. No matter how scared or nervous I am, like I have to do that shit. And anybody who's like, I'm gonna get you in trouble. Fuck you, dude. With who?
I think that if you look at it as a drama, and I think about getting a really mean email from Tom Wellington's people. Shout out to Tom Wellington.
Shout out to Tom Wellington.
Tom, if you're listening right now, shout out to you.
I
Uh,
snuck in twice, and
and
you
I
never answered
and I
me.
called you and left you two voicemails, and then your people started calling me. So I called Tom Wellington, and I'm like, I need to name drop Casey Wolf. I need to name drop Casey Wolf. So I called, and I pretended to have a role available for one of your writer directors, the woman who wrote, directed, and starred in Smilf. Her name is Amazed Me, and I said, hey, listen, Tom, love what you're doing at WME. I would love to cast this woman as the mom in my movie. Now, I didn't have the role in the movie. When you see the movie, this mom is not really in the movie. But dude, you gotta get involved in this project because I got Shelby Parks and Catherine Smith Rodden, and I got this guy. His name is KC Wolf. It's spelled KC space WOLF. You should look him up on IMDb. His name is KC Wolf. How many times can I say KC Wolf on the phone? And his people called me a couple times chasing down the lead of like, well, what's this project that you want this person for? And I guess I look forward to the day if I sat down for dinner with Tom Wellington. Shout out to Tom Wellington, and just maybe show him the video that I took of
Yeah,
me calling
in selfie mode.
in selfie mode,
Yeah,
right? I think he'd get a big kick out of it.
he should.
He should get a big kick out of it.
Whether he does or whether he doesn't, he should. Because it's funny. It's a comedy, dude. Relax.
If I got a cease and
You
desist
know,
from them, or if you got a cease and desist from them, you put that shit on your wall.
hundred
It would be
percent.
so.
I'm
It would be
I'm
an
looking
honor.
forward to it. You know.
Let's do a quick,
Yeah.
because I know so much about you. We've
Sure.
become
Sure.
homies. Can you tell me a little bit about, your journey? I know you came from Baltimore. You had a bit of an arc before you got to Los Angeles. Tell me a little bit about like what you did when you first landed in Los Angeles. What were you trying to get done?
Dude, I lived in Clark Gable's mansion with a tattooed clown.
Tattooed clown. He had clown paint tattooed on his face.
The only guy in the world. Yeah. So when I first landed in Los Angeles, I lived in Clark Gable's mansion in a roommate situation with a tattooed clown. Shout out Richie the barber. He's like, you know,
It's a good introduction to Los Angeles.
it was insane.
Not
And he
everyone's
lived in a closet.
Okay. Okay.
Next, like, I had a room in like the room, like you open the door and there's like a closet bay window that like the top of, like you would hang coats, mattress on the floor. Richie the barber. I mean, and shout out to like no slight on him. Like he was doing his thing. You know what I mean?
I always say to people, they're like, "Hey, how's Los Angeles going?" And I'm like, "Hey, how's Boston going? How's Boston going for you?" And one thing I find about living out here is there's a sense of like going for yours. And I think people in Boston and people in the Northeast, like there's a sense that they're not able to go for theirs, and they get really wound up, and the winter turns into a miserable season. And when they get wasted, it turns into this like a fight fest. And out here in Los Angeles, everyone's going for theirs, and you get Richie the Barber, and you get people roller skating on Venice Beach with their shirt off.
He would ride a unicycle to work.
That's right.
That was his way to get to work. No joke.
It's a
Look it
very
up. Yeah.
normal LA experience.
Yeah.
So like, how do you find legit stuff? I'm not saying what he was doing is not legit, but it was not your path to be.
Yeah.
How
He's
do you?
also a huge fan of me. You know what
Uh-huh.
I mean? He was like, dude, you're Tom Cruise. You're like a young Tom Cruise, dude. You're gonna make it. He kept saying, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it.
How do you find stuff here that you feel like, oh, this is my path. This is my stuff.
In terms of projects or in terms of just like
Really anything, because you're doing more than just acting,
right.
right? So like, how do you find stuff where you're like, oh, this is a thing that I
I get
want?
excited. If it excites me, I do it,
Yep.
you know? And to me, Los Angeles has kind of lost its sparkle.
Yep.
And that's a me thing. I speak in I statements. I'm not going to speak for anyone else. But when I first got here in 2015, it was amazing. I ran it. It was just like it was magic in the air. You could feel it. It was like you could reach out and touch the magic dust. I don't feel that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Happens.
like, I have to constantly be kind of centering and looking for that excitement.
You and I had a good experience. I'll speak for me. I had a good experience when I first met you on Zoom auditioning you. And I'm like, oh, there's something to this guy. I like this
Mm,
guy. And then I think that you had a similar experience when you are out in the world looking for your next thing. Are you looking for little bits of those things? Oh, I need to find another Zoom with a person like that, or I need to find another project that has this sort of these attributes. Or is it just like you just trying to trust your gut when you walk into a room and you're like, oh, this is the thing that I'm looking for?
I like to stay open, but I think I think it's a discovery. You kind of find these things, and I think that's what makes life valuable. Is like if you're paying attention, you'll find it.
That's true.
You know,
That's true.
instead of just like you don't want to meander aimlessly around in hopes, but it's like you want to sneak in to the movie before it starts. You want to catch the last 10 minutes of the movie, right? So you see how the movie ends. And you're like, oh, dude, all the principal actors are like, yes, dude, this fucking thing is great. But you got your ticket for the next showing,
Yep.
right? So you already know how it's gonna end.
Interesting. Interesting.
I already know how it's gonna end. Now I have to go through the acts, you know? And sometimes you're in the dark night of the soul.
This is deep.
You
This
know
is
what I
deep.
mean? But it's like that's the faith part for me. If I can see it here, right? If you can see, all the greatest, whatever, inventors, spiritual people, like all the people say, like, if you can see it here, you can hold it here. So you just watch the last 10 minutes of the movie. Now you have to go through the story arc. There's no shortcuts.
You had always struck me as someone that brings the extra. You
Hmm.
bring extra. You bring extra preparation, extra ideas. You had a scene where you break in to Angelo's house, and on the script is one sentence: "There is a struggle." But you showed up. I'm like, this motherfucker is bringing some extra. So
Yeah.
maybe talk. Can you talk about that specific scene?
Yeah. There's yeah, it's like you have to, you work on, so I think about it like kind of tying your shoe. It's like how many times have we tied our shoes? It's like you work that script so many times. You can tie your shoe in the dark, right? You can tie it in the rain. You can tie it, you can tie it anywhere. It's like you fucking know this shit, right? So it's like that's I know that my little sister's in there with a creep. And the first thing I see is this bitch talking about Macallan and orange juice?
Yeah.
It's like you, you know what I mean? And that's like acting for me is it's I know there's some actors that are insanely confident just all the time. I feel like how I know it's right for me is it feels like a roller coaster. There's a lot of anticipation going up, you know?
You were doing jumping jacks before that scene.
Yeah.
I remember watching. I'm like,
I
oh,
don't,
he's gonna do something right
there's
now.
just a lot going on, you know? So it's like, you know, and you're just, you know what I mean?
And when you showed up on this set
Yeah.
with these other actors, I know you had rehearsed with a bunch of them before. Like, what were you picking up on similar vibes from them? Oh, these guys are going to bring some extra. Were you worried that maybe you weren't? What kind of headspace were you in when you showed up?
Yeah, I try to connect with everybody as much as possible. That's my thing. Is like whether it's Gabby or Shelby or Catherine or Stefan, you know, having a trust is really good.
Yeah,
You know, trust is key. You have to trust everybody. When you don't have that fusion of trust, they have to trust you. So you know, so I'm really big on trust. And every, you know, once you see people and they're not goofing off, and I'm not saying there's not like a time for play and stuff, but like people who are committed to doing this.
yep,
And for me, it's like I know, just like you, yeah, I know how hard it is to bring something to realization. I mean, you were the one that told me that quote. It's like if a movie gets made in Hollywood, someone didn't do their job.
did I say that quote?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
I'd
there's
heard it
something
before,
to
but we
this,
talk about it often, right? It's like that means no, 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 no. Who the fuck said yes?
right?
You know,
Right.
because the no's are across the board. Someone's so it's so hard to me. I'm like, dude, you tell me what you want. Because like Catherine, right? Notes all over her page. Like Shelby, it's like, dude, I've tied this shoe in the rain.
Yeah,
I've tied it in the desert. What flavor do you want?
yeah.
How can I do it for you?
There's something about this. I went through this for a long time about if you're going to be a creative person, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, um, you need to expect conflict in your life. I was working through this in therapy, and I'm like, why is there so much conflict in my life? And my therapist goes, Tim, he goes, you're an entrepreneur. You're trying to make things that don't exist already. You're basically saying, I don't like the way things are done around here. I have a better vision for how things should be done. How is it that you don't expect the universe to push back on you? The universe is saying, I'm like this. You want it to be different? Good fucking luck to you.
Friction.
You're going to expect a lot of fucking friction. And so this is a skill that you have to come up with. If you want to make something good, you need to expect a lot of blowback from people, from the universe, from the weather, the whole bit. You ever been on set, except for that story that you told earlier? Let's move on from that one. You ever been on set, you're across from someone and you're not getting it? You
Yeah.
feel they're unprepared. What do you do in a situation like that?
Shout out to John Hyman.
Okay.
You know, he's had this thing that I cannot, if I can't be hypnotized out of it. Is you can fall in love with an eyelash, and that's like you can find something about them, no matter how small it is.
Mm,
You can find a piece of them that you love dearly. It can be that. And
Re-
sometimes that's the way the cookie
it's
crumbles,
the way the cookie crumbles. Remy Youssef
hmm
was on Subway Takes recently. You know the
Of
Instagram
course,
bit
of
Subway
course.
Takes, and he goes fundamentally um, fundamentally he goes I think everyone's a good person, and the guy goes 100% disagree. And he goes, what about, and he proceeds to name all these really bad people. And he goes, I see it like this. He goes, I had this revelation during COVID. He goes, you can be a really good person, but if you have COVID, I can't be around you. You're infected. You're still a good person. You're just infected with capitalism or trauma or, this or that. And you're like, I was like, oh, I can appreciate that. You're like, this motherfucker is being such a motherfucker right now. But he's a good guy. He's just infected with being a motherfucker right now.
The eyelash.
The eyelash. I like that. Um, we're gonna wrap up. I want you
Cool.
to give me a really a happy moment. What's your happiest moment? You look back on Pieces of Amy. There's a moment that stands out where you're like, oh, you know what? I love this. I wish I could revisit this thing.
Day one, scene one.
Day one, scene one, which was Aaron's
Aaron's house.
house. Yeah, because we'd rehearsed that scene like crazy. Everyone was
And
prepared.
it how I saw it in my mind's eye is how it was.
Yeah,
That big corduroy red maroon couch
yeah.
was like in my mind. You know, hot as shit in that house. You know,
That was great. It was cozy. It
it
was
was
a nice way to
amazing.
start
It
things
was amazing.
off.
It was perfect.
Yeah, we could have started in an abandoned building, but we started there. Likewise. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
taking the time. I look forward to doing like many more interviews with you. We got a lot of stuff to talk about in the future.
I got some cool things coming down the pipe.
I bet you do. Give me a quick shout out. What are some things you got coming up?
I'm doing a little self-produced, self-funded biopic on the lead singer of the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I've heard of them.
Pretty interesting, famous guys.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like them.
Yep.
Yeah, Anthony Kiedis,
Okay.
bringing that into the world.
Amazing. I look forward to seeing it.
Me too.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.